Okay, it's been a very interesting month in April, and we're going to educate you on all of the stats so that you know where you stand, whether you're in a buyer's market, a seller's market, a balanced market, and if you're moving here, if you're relocating, and you just need to start understanding the market, we're going to give you all the numbers. So let's figure it out for the month of April. This month changed a lot, and one of the things that I've always tried to do is not only understand the actual numbers themselves, but also give you the specific details. So this month is going to come with a very, very large caveat, because the average price this month actually hit $673,000. That's up from last month, which was 660. So we're up 2%, and we're up also 1% on last year. But here's the big caveat. There was one sale in Halifax Central. Technically, South End is more like where that house sat. And it was listed for $14 million. And it sold in the month of April for $11 million. I'm pretty sure that, certainly in my history of being a real estate agent for the 14 years, that is the highest price we have actually had for a, let's call it an HRM sale. So unfortunately, that really screwed up the numbers from an average sale point of view. But that $673,000, that's actually stripping out that particular property, because it did screw the numbers up by that much that it took the average for the whole of HRM to over $700,000. So there's the big caveat. Now, it was just that one property. So when you look at just taking out one property of 11, and we're still sitting here at a $673,000 average, you know, we're up. Like, that's probably the highest price on average that we've hit in the whole of Halifax. So later on, when we start looking at the price brackets and the buckets of different price properties, that's when we'll do a little bit more work and figure out, like, how did we hit $673,000? Because it is a big number. And I was pretty confident this year that we were going to, let's say, flatline. We were just going to stay basically the same. And we haven't. So $608,000 January, $624,000 February, $660,000 March, $673,000 April. Like, that's going in this direction. So we're trying to figure out why that is, because when we look at some of the other numbers in particular, you know, we're looking at average days on market here of 37 days. Last month that was 46, so we're better by 9 days on that. And then also we did go up from last year. Last year was 30, so we're plus 7 days on that. So that tells you we're fairly average, like 37 days on market, just over a month. That's actually pretty good. Looking at the inventory though, that's 2.8 months. Last month was 2.8 months. Last year was more or less the same number again. So when we look at those numbers, we're pretty much still in what we would call a seller's market, but it really doesn't feel that way. Now, from an average price going up, it feels like a seller's market. But from a buying point of view, you do have a little bit more choice. So you do have the ability to look at some of the properties. But here's another caveat. This month is full of caveats, because Peninsula Halifax is going through a little bit of a boom right now. And certainly when you look at like the average sale price in Halifax South, you know, that number is hitting 1.9 million as an average. So South End is really popular right now, and there's a lot of competition, and we've been in multiple offers 3 times with clients looking in that Peninsula South End, kind of close to the grammar school, St. Mary's Dalhousie, the hospital and everything, because that's where their life is. So we've been going through multiple offers, and then we did actually say, do you know what, we're going to have to change location. Went up into the north end of Halifax and managed to get a house that we're going through conditions on right now for $190,000 less than the list price. So the bargains are out there, people. You just have to go and actually figure out what makes sense and where, and potentially change your location for a short time. So we're not giving up on the South End. We're just going, well, right now we do need a house. Let's go somewhere else. Let's find a house that fits our needs. We're still on Peninsula Halifax. It's not that much extra in terms of traveling time. Life can carry on with soccer and swimming and hockey and schools and work, but we're just going to kind of give Southend a rest, let it calm down, and then come back to it in like 4 or 5 years, something like that. But it all goes to show you that it's a very different market that we're dealing with right now. And certainly getting your pricing right, that really matters as well. So looking at that average price, we are 99.1% sale to list price, which equates to around about a $6,000 price drop from the list price to the selling price. Also, we need to factor in exactly what kind of price drops people have had to do to get to that listing price. And it was a big number this time. On average, for the houses that did do price reductions to get themselves conditional, you're looking at 79,000 and a half, like 79.7. So that's a huge number. And again, when we go into the price brackets, you'll see some of those big price drops happening in the higher price properties. Like once you get kind of over the $900,000 number, those are the ones where they can actually afford to kind of do those 70, 80, maybe even $100,000. One of them is more than that, just give you an example, to actually get the properties under agreement as well. So it all goes to show you that there are some pretty wild pricing going on, that people are not accurate enough from the start. You shouldn't need to be doing that kind of a price drop if you're marketing well, if you've got a good price to start off with that is indicative of what the market is prepared to pay. Because remember, the only time you know the real price of a house is when a willing buyer and a willing seller agree and come to a number. That's the price. It's not where you list at. It's when a buyer says, I'll give you this much money, and you think, as a seller, I'll take that much money. So that gives you all of the details on the actual pricing point of view, as well as the number of months of inventory, as well as the days on market. So now let's talk a little bit about new listings, because this month we actually went over the 1,000 number mark for active homes for sale. So we're sitting at 1,006. Last month, that was 746. Last year, that was 804. So we're up like 35% on last month, 25% on last year. And we've actually gone over the 1,000, which I think didn't happen until, looking at the numbers, around about September last year was when we kind of hit this similar kind of numbers. Now, number of sales was actually up quite a good jump. Like we're at 355 sales. It was 270 last month. That puts us as plus 31, but we're actually down on April last year by 14%. So again, we're looking at that spring market, and it's definitely increased. Like the number of new listings that we put up for sale was 724. That's a 60% increase compared to last month in March. So last month in March, we only listed or put up for sale an extra 460 new listings came to the market. This month, 724. So there was definitely a delay in March and April, and that has showed up in May, which also therefore has showed up why we've got like over 1,000 houses actually active for sale. So there is a lot more choice, and that's the key thing for the buyer's sentiment right now, is you have a lot more choice. But don't wait, don't take your time, because the good properties, especially if you're looking in Peninsula Halifax, they are moving pretty quick right now. Like 2-3 days and they're going conditional. Sometimes agents are holding all offers for a certain number of days, and then it's multiple offers. But there was another recent activity on a property in Duncan Street, which is kind of just below North Street. And that was the same thing. The agent was not holding offers. They said, please leave all offers open for 24 hours. And yeah, it was listed on Thursday and offers came in on Thursday and it was conditional on Friday. So things are moving really quick. You don't actually have a ton of time to take your time and look at a lot of different properties. If you look at 1 or 2 properties and one of those properties is like the one and it matches all the criteria, my advice is strongly get an offer on it. Get that offer accepted, because if you don't, it can go to somebody else. And yes, that's the situation right now. So you kind of have time, but you kind of don't have time. It's like a little bit of both. Let's jump into the sales to new listings ratio. So we jumped, we didn't jump, we actually went down to 49% sales to new listing ratio. Last month, that was at 59%. And we're also down again from last year. Now, we know this is a good measure because we want to see how many new listings are coming to the market versus how many listings are actually sold. Now, right now, we did say we actually put another 724 homes up for sale in the month. We sold 355. That's roughly 50%. But because it's at 50%, we therefore did add to the inventory level as well. Hence, we're kind of like, it's weird because we're only sitting at 2.8 months, but we've gone over 1,000 homes for sale. So when you look at it that way, that's a little indicator of what is actually happening in the market as well. So don't forget, all of this has stripped out that $11 million sale that was listed at $14.9 million. So again, if I put that back in, the numbers just get screwed up. So there's a big caveat on this month. Jumping into some price brackets before we go and do the top three markets. We're looking at the moment, we're saying $0 to $400,000. There were 33 homes that were sold there with a $31,000 average price drop. Now, jumping up into the 4 to 5, we're at 62 homes and $37,000 price drop. Fairly common, this $30,000 to $40,000 price drop, really, until we get into those higher markets. 5 to 600,000, 86 homes were sold there at 37 average price drop. 6 to 700, we're at 68 and a 41 drop. Now it starts tailing off because we're obviously getting into the higher price brackets here and getting away from the overall average. 7 to 800,000, we're at 35 homes, but a 50K price drop. 8 to 900, only 20 sales there and a $35,000 price drop, but there was only 2 of those 20 homes that actually did the price drops. All of the other ones didn't have to do a price drop at all, so fairly accurate pricing in that 8 to 9 range. 9 to $1 million, 21 homes sold with a $22,000 average price drop, and again, only 2 homes there as well. So gives you an idea that between 8 and $1 million, it's fairly accurate pricing in terms of what you would be looking to pay. Jumping up $1 to $2 million, 26 homes for the month of April were sold. And they had to do a $215,000 average price drop there. But there were 4 homes in that price range that actually were basically around $500,000 price drops, because one of them was actually a for sale by owner. And there's kind of a bit of a hint about accurate pricing. That for sale by owner did not get accurate pricing because they not only had to do the $500,000 price drop, but they also took a $200,000 sale to listing drop as well. Get accurate pricing there, people. And then we jumped $2 to $3 million. Only 2 homes were sold there, no price reductions. And then, yes, over $3 million. There was actually 2 homes there, one of which is that $11 million sale in the South Shore, in the South End, kind of South End, but he called it Central of Halifax as well. So that gives you a clue as to where all of the price drops are in what particular price ranges as well. Now let's jump into the top 3 markets, and didn't really change too much. Our top 3 markets are typically the same every single month. Just sometimes an extra market will actually jump in there. But number 1 this month was Sackville with a $489,000 sale price, $488,000 list price. So pretty much the same, like $279 higher. They had to do an average price drop though of $22,000 to get the houses sold. 11 days on market, 34 homes sold. That's what made them number 1. 29 homes active, not a lot of active, so they're less than a month of inventory right now. Moving on to number 2. Timberley Prospects at Margaret's Bay is the area, but this is also bringing in, obviously, Upper Tantallon as well. $571,000 average sale price, $575.5 on the list, so that puts them at $4,000 as a price reduction, 99.3%. 36 days on market, a little bit longer, a lot more normal. 32 sales in the month, but 133 for sale, giving them 4.2 months of inventory. And then coming in at number 3 is East Hants, Colchester West, Enfield, Elmsdale, Lance area. Price jump, it went up a little bit here. We're talking $555,000 average sale price with a $566 on a list price, so roughly $10,000, maybe $11,000 underneath the asking price there, giving them like 98.2% sale to list price, but $57,000 average price drop up there, which is quite a big price drop given that we're only at $555,000 average sale price. 81 days on market, 26 sales in the month, 95 homes for sale, giving them 3.7 months of inventory. So things are taking longer to sell, and there obviously is higher months of inventory there as well. So that rounds out the top 3. So that's all of your stats, all of your detail. Now, if you've got this far, definitely give me a thumbs up, like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and also tune in to some of the other videos that we're doing where we're covering everything about moving to Halifax, about buying, about selling houses in Halifax. And if you have any questions, drop a comment down below and we'll get you the answers.